parks, schools, restaurants, and more, Assembly Row gets high scores. We're a thriving city with so much to do. On Boston Harbor, in our view, politics, cannabis, controversial stories, heroes, villains, who gets the glory? 50 plus languages in Somerville is spoken. Sanctuary city, there are no free tokens. History in Somerville stays alive. In All American City, we won 3 times. Somerville connects. Somerville connects. Welcome to another edition of Dead Air Live, the longest live-running TV show in the country, and Somerville Connects, our audio podcast. We have today Devon Godfrey. Devon Godfrey is a software developer entrepreneur, and the title of our show is Thinking with Devon. Welcome, Devon.
Glad to be here.
So, Devon, viewers, listeners, we don't know a whole lot about you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a programmer that stubbornly tried to be a nurse for 10 years.
And, okay, so you're a programmer. What does that mean exactly? You're a programmer. What does a programmer do?
So, as you mentioned, I'm a software developer. Programming is a skill that software developers have. A programmer writes software that runs on computers, smartphones, all these devices that you use in your everyday life.
And how do you help people with the programs that you write? I met you in BNI, Business Networking International, and when I met you, you said that you help people to build websites. Now, everyone thinks, okay, I'm going to build a website. I'm going to go to Wix. Which is, I guess, a template of some sort, a very basic template. So tell us, really dive in to what you do and help us to understand, because the regular layman does not really understand the intricacies of a website developer.
So, when you go to Wix and you go to build yourself a website, now, first let me say this, Wix is a fantastic platform. You know, you can do a lot of amazing things on Wix. The struggle with Wix and a lot of their competitors right now, though, is they've been gearing their services not towards you, the average consumer, but towards other developers and marketers. So, I've seen plenty of people attempt to build their websites in Wix. And the common problem is they'll work on it for an hour, maybe 2, but then they'll get so frustrated with the interface because it's a very complex tool to use that they'll either give up or just settle with what came out the other end with the agreement that I'll just come back to this later. And of course they don't, because they're usually solopreneurs or single person businesses, or they may have a couple of employees. The website is not high on their priority list, and rightfully so. You know, they got their current customers that they're working on. They're trying to keep their business afloat. They're trying to keep their employees fed, basically, keeping them paid. And most of their business comes from word of mouth anyways. So why should they prioritize getting a website and getting work through their website? Well, that's where I come in. I answer those questions.
Okay, so you're saying that Wix will only take you to a certain point, and then people get frustrated, and so they settle. But you take it a step further. Where do you come in?
Actually, this may sound weird, but I take it a step back.
What do you mean? You take it a step back?
So imagine this. Let's say you decide you want to ride a Harley Davidson motorcycle, and you're going to do it now. Would you ride a Harley Davidson motorcycle without knowing how to ride a basic motorcycle, or even a smaller motorized motorcycle, without getting motorcycle training, without getting a motorcycle's license, and without at least even trying to get a Harley Davidson motorcycle and riding it around first? What do you think would happen?
Well, I happen to love Harleys, and I did put a deposit on a Harley 90 when I was 16 years old, $5 deposit. That's kind of
Nice.
like, well, and my father told me that if I got it, he would disown me. So, because I was a wild child. But I understand your analogy. You need to know the basics. You need to have certain things under your belt. And so, yeah, I would need to have a motorcycle license. I would need to know how to ride a motorcycle before I would attempt to get on a Harley Davidson.
Yeah, I've never ridden one myself, but I know that they're some pretty beastly machines. And, not just anybody can jump on a Harley. You have to have some experience to back it up.
Okay, I totally hear what you're saying. So let's talk about the intricacies of what you do and why you are better, or you have something more to offer than platforms like Wix.
So the beautiful thing about it is, you mentioned intricacies. It isn't very intricate at all. In fact, it's incredibly simple. And that's the whole point. So where most of these platforms are completely lost is, and I'm not sure if this term already exists, but I made it up because I find it's a good way to explain it. Everybody has different levels of what I'll call technical competency. And all that means is that different people can handle different levels of complexity in the technology that they use. So the more complex you make your product, the more people you're going to unfortunately alienate from your product. And these services are becoming so complex that they're alienating the market that they are trying to serve in the first place. And we've actually hit an era where there are actually web developers and marketers that specialize in selling Wix websites and developing upon Wix websites, which is very strange because Wix is meant to, cut the developer out and just let the business owner make their own websites. Do you see how weird that is?
That is very weird. So if I'm correct, because you're a software developer, have you developed your own system?
I sure have. And this system, it first and foremost, keep things simple. Keep it very simple.
And how do you keep your website simple, or will you be giving away trade secrets?
Anybody can hop on and look at it and see how I've done it. So there's no point in keeping any trade secrets there. The only thing that you have to know is, instead of there being a builder and a complex interface in building your website, all you do is fill out a form. And you fill out as much as you can. You don't even have to fill out the whole thing. You just answer as much as you can. And the more questions you answer, the better your website's going to look. That's it.
So you're making it, this is how you're keeping it simple for people. They're filling out information. They're feeding you information. You're taking their information and you're creating a website tailored to their needs.
Exactly.
You have some people that have given testimonials on your website, and your website is Frey, FREYDOM sites, SITES.com. So that's freydomsites.com. And that's where people go.
Yep, that's where people go. You can get a 14-day free trial, no credit card required, and you can just tinker with it, see if it's right for you. And if it is, you can run with it. That's the other side too. These are very affordable.
When you say affordable can mean different things to different people. Do explain.
So to get a site on Freedom Site, it costs you $35 per month. Now compare that to the values that Freedom Sites brings you. You get an SSL as part of your package. Your site gets secured. That's typically about $63 a year. Your site is on-page search engine optimized. When you're working with another developer, you're talking at least a couple $100, for them to go in, do the research, and to get the code onto the page. These are also very, very highly optimized for page load. your site loads in less than a second on the Freedom Sites platform. And the reason why they can is because I built the site so simple and stripped away all the nonsense. So for ranking your website for SEO purposes for page load, you're at the top. And then couple that with typically when you're going with a developer, you're talking about $100 a month just in maintenance fees. So $35 a month to get you going. And I actually crunched all these numbers. You're talking about $3,000 in your first year to get your small business website rolling for just a simple site, depending on who you go with and what you get with it. Versus, okay, $35 per month, you can build your site in less than an hour.
Okay. You've opened this up to a ton more questions. SEO is search engine optimization.
That's right.
Are you saying with search engine optimization that someone can weed out someone who's a marketer that brings people to the top and that you can do this with what you offer?
I can give them the best that they can possibly get with the amount of effort they're able to put in.
What does that mean, to get the best that they can get? What does that exactly mean?
So to do true SEO work, that requires a lot of time, energy, focus, and research. That's why we have professionals that do search engine optimization work. But there are some facets of search engine optimization that can be automated. And I've dug deep into that. And every facet of search engine optimization that can be automated. That is making sure the title tags of the page are clear, making sure you have a good description for the page, making sure your page loads quickly, all that good stuff. All that is handled for you, just right out of the gate.
Are people locked into, once you get them all set up, are they locked in with you? Do you have like a contract that they have to stay with you for a year or two?
Nope.
Really?
Really. And it's a come and go thing too. Like say you build your site and set it up. You pay for it a couple of months, but then you're like, I don't want my site anymore. And you just let your subscription lapse. As long as you don't like close your account, you could come back like a year later and start it back up and your site will still be there.
What do you mean close your account? Is their account through you?
On my platform. Yep. So you sign up with a email and password.
Okay. And what does that cost when someone signs up through you?
$35 a month just to have their site and get it going. It doesn't cost anything to sign up.
I see. I'm not sure what to ask you because I have so many questions. What if somebody already has an SSL? Like in my case, I already have an SSL. I have a domain and a hosting. I do everything through GoDaddy, and it costs a ton of money.
Oh yeah, it sure does.
Are you saying that with you, they just pay $35 a month and they don't have to like deal with all this other platforms?
You don't have to worry about it at all. In fact, as part of the platform, you get your site through Freedom Sites. If you don't have a domain already, with your permission, we can go out and get your domain for you and set it up. You don't even need to worry about it. If you have a pre-existing domain, we will help you get it configured so that it points to Freedom Sites.
What I didn't ask you earlier, because you definitely sound like you know what you're doing, who have you worked with? What have you done to give you so much credibility in your field?
I've built over 200 websites in the past 6 years.
Wow. And what is the success rate of your customers? Do they stay with you? What is their longevity with you?
Well, I mean, if you want, I can pull up my database and tell you.
Okay. Do we want to screen share here or?
No, we're not going to screen share because
Okay.
I'd be showing private information.
Correct.
If I did that.
I have to respect that. Yes, of course.
So if I hopped into my funnel here, so in my existing system, which is, by the way, only accounts for maybe a third of all my contacts because I switched systems about 2-3 years ago. So how many contacts do I have total on here? I can tell you that. So I have 244 contacts on here. Of these 244 contacts, let's see. I have 19, 27, 28, 33 that are actively doing business with me right now. And for projects, actually the projects are the ones that really matter. Let me hop into my master view for projects. So I have 88 projects on here. And out of all the ones, I can actually sort by my status. There we go. Apply. Okay, we got 59, 84. Probably about 20% of them, like fall into, either the relationship doesn't work out, or they decide to go elsewhere with their website, or whatever that may be.
So you have a very good following and a very good track record.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In fact, I just did some work this morning. This guy that I just did some work for, he's one of my first clients. He hasn't decided to adopt Freedom Sites yet, but he's an older gentleman, and this is who my target market really is the mostly the older generation that struggles with websites or struggles with technology in general, and they need someone with a kind heart to help guide them with honesty to make sure that they get the best that they really need. So, of course, I operate also more traditionally as a developer. One of my clients, they're a dog and gun club, and they are a group of. I'm not sure if this is the right way to say this, but I'm just gonna say it the way I know, and that is they are stubborn old people, and I love every single one of them to death. For most developers, though, that type of client is an absolute nightmare, because it's like, okay, you can do this to achieve your goal with technology. Well, they don't want change. They don't want to do anything. None of that nonsense. There was another developer they were considering, but I got the contract because I came to them and I said, look, I can help you guys do what you need to do while introducing very little new technology into your lives. And I gave them the plan. They looked it over. And since I was very sensitive to their technical competency, very important phrase there, I was able to design a solution for them that required very little technical competency. And just tell you the solution, their goal was they wanted to be able to post news updates on their website and have it automatically blast out, via email to all their members.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So I set them up so that they have most of these people know how to use email. At the very least, they can use email. So I gave them an email that is linked to the website, and I told them, look, whatever email you send to this specific email, it gets sent to the website, gets posted as a news post, and then gets emailed to all members. And they thought that was the coolest thing in the world because it was so easy for them to send updates to everybody.
You make it easy and fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're patient, and you have kindness. You're an empath, and people love that. And you're making it easy for them and affordable.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Now, what if somebody already has a website, let's say built on Dreamweaver or WordPress, and you have to restructure it? Do you just break it down and start from scratch? I mean, how do you work? How do you do that?
Well, the first question is, do they need to restructure their website in the first place? That's always that's a commonly missed question, but is always the most important. Is a website right for you? Are you ready for a website? And, but, if to really answer your question, if I'm put in a situation where it's like, okay, here's an existing site, we look at it and it's like, okay, can we build on this, or do we have to kind of start over? And even if we have to kind of start over, I have processes in place to spin up websites very quickly. And it's actually And, there's a lot of stigma behind templated websites, but it's actually quite shocking how important it is that you at least start with a template, and that way you can build off from it. Because one of the main downfalls of most small business websites is they just put too much stuff on it, plain and simple, and you confuse your visitors. They don't have a clear call to action. They're definitely not clear about what it is that they want people to do, versus like, okay, got to ask the question, because there's really two sides to your website. There's the side that everybody knows about, and that is, okay, when visitors visit your site, they are coming for something. But then you got to integrate your website with your business. And that's where people a lot of times fall short. You have no idea how many prospects I've met with, and their contact form doesn't go into their email.
A lot of people are using Facebook as their place where people land versus a website.
Yep.
Do you advise that, or do you link people to their social media on their websites?
Social media is good as long as you work it. Nothing breaks your credibility more online than send someone to a Facebook page that hasn't seen a post in 10 months.
Okay, so you're saying that a website is much better than Facebook or social media unless you're willing to like stay on it and work with it all the time.
Exactly.
But you do have links for people where they can link up to their social media as well, correct?
Definitely. And where social media is really good is, so a website, so think of it this way. You have your house, or you have your place of business. That place of business is all you and owned by you. You're able to control every single facet of your place of business. You can sell your products there. You can negotiate deals there, whatever you need to do. But in order for you to get customers, you go to the cafe up the street where they host regular business meetings. You do not have control over those business meetings. You do not have control over who comes or who doesn't come. The only thing that you have control over is what you say and what you do and how you're able to attract positive attention to yourself. So social media, like Facebook, is the cafe, and your brick and mortar store is your website.
Oh, now, I love that. I love that analogy. People can always do great with visuals. That was beautiful.
Yep. So we're basically comparing apples to oranges here. They're both useful in their own right for their own specific things, and they can complement each other greatly. But you just need to have a good idea as to when to use one or the other.
Okay, this is great. Devon, you've been so helpful today. Can you tell us again how people can find you?
You can find me on freedomsites.com, FREYDOM sites.com. There you'll find my platform. Otherwise, you can also go to playfree.tech. That's PLAYFREY.tech, and you'll find information to contact me directly.
So, folks, you heard it here today. Thinking with Devon, software developer, entrepreneur. And I have to tell you that I am so blown away with everything that you've given us today. And you have been so delightful. And I want to shout it out to everyone about what you do. I think it's great. And you know what I love is that you care about people. It's huge.
Yeah, if you don't have that, you don't have anything.
Right, because people want to know that you care. Mm-hmm. They don't really care about what you do, but they want to know that you care about them. They want to know that you care. Mm-hmm. So Devon Godfrey, thank you so much for taking the time today. And folks, you got to check out Devon Godfrey. I just met him like a week ago, and I am very impressed. You seem like a fine young man. So thank you, Devon.
No problem. I'm glad I came.
Thank you. And folks, thanks for listening to another edition of Dead Air Live and Somerville Connects, and we'll see you the next time. Bye for now. Somerville Connects. Somerville Connects.